Welcome to another edition of Lean Bites. Thanks for joining me today. My name is Paul Dean. Today I'd like to share my insights into an extremely powerful concept that Toyota created as a core pillar, respect for people. Yes, I know there's been a huge amount written and spoken about this principle over the years, and I'm sure there'll be a whole lot more yet to come. Now, while I'm not the expert, I found that if you seek to understand and live this principle, you'll discover that it's really a foundation for a successful lean journey. I came across this principle back in the early 2000s when I first came in contact with Toyota and lean manufacturing. It really resonated with me from the start and something that has influenced me for many years since. Now, I think there's a few people that I believe have a good handle on this: Mike Rother, Jeffrey Liker, and Bob Emiliani, and I recommend reviewing what they've said on this topic. So, firstly, allow me, if I can, to try and explain what it looks like, and then secondly, what I try and do day to day to live this principle. So, what is respect for people? Many say it's a concept that's both simple and complex. I learned early on that respect for people is not a system, is not a 5-step program, it's a way of working. And I find that one of the most common ways to describe it is using Toyota's explanation, which comes in two parts. Respect: we respect others, make every effort to understand each other, take responsibility and do our best to build mutual trust. And secondly, teamwork: we stimulate personal and professional growth, share the opportunities of development, and maximise individual and team performance. This applies to everyone. And when trying to explain respect for people in my own words, I frequently use this analogy. It's like how a human body works. The body is made up of hundreds of parts: muscles, tendons, organs, etc., each having a distinct purpose, but all working together for the betterment of the whole body. Now, every part, while working semi-autonomously, is very much intimately connected together. Every part knows what to do and is empowered to do what they're supposed to do, and supported by other systems in the body like the cardiovascular and the nervous system. That's how respect for people works, I believe. Each team member is equipped to do their job, is empowered to keep the organisation running efficiently through being responsible for their tasks in their zone and solving problems as they arise. And if needed, they can call for assistance from the local leader within a psychologically and physically safe environment where any concerns will be taken seriously without the fear of speaking up. Now, I learned many years ago that the arena of problem solving is the ideal environment to understand this principle. This is where it's most powerful. So, this is what I do to live the principle of respect for people, and it's centered around problem solving. 1, prioritize problem solving. Make this part of everyday life, not a bolt-on. Equip team members to be problem solvers through training, coaching, and applying what they've learned as they go about their day-to-day tasks. 2, be responsive. When a team member identifies a problem and calls for help, it's important that as a leader, I'm responsive and meet them at the gemba to discuss it as soon as possible. This then creates some urgency to the problem, like Toyota's and on principle. I don't ask, what's the problem? I start with, how can I help? This then leads to a conversation about the issue. And it's very important that I'm not dismissive and listen to the operator's explanation. 3, respectful challenge. I then respectfully challenge the theory that's based on their evidence. Now, respectful challenge is where we debate the merit of the idea, not the person who said it. My questions are meant to get them to think about their conclusions. I don't dismiss their findings because it's based on their observations and their assessment. And I'm careful from the outset not to tell them what I think or impose on them my opinions. But after they've explained it to me of what they've seen, I'm happy for them to ask for my opinion. I ask them to review their assessment so they get a chance to step back and rethink the cause. This avoids jumping to conclusions, and if appropriate, then the operator might gather others around to help them to determine root cause. And I'm asked to be involved in this step as a process coach only, never to run the root cause analysis. Then 4, what's the solution? If the operator has settled on root cause, it's time for action. Typically, while standing next to a leader, some team members will ask, what should we do? I always respond with, what do you think is the solution, or what do you think you should do? This might include gathering further information or evidence, or further discussion with the team depending on the issue. Number 5, implement the solution. The operator should then be empowered to apply or facilitate the solution. Included in this might be collaboration with others to control the solution. For example, introducing new procedures or equipment modification. And finally, 6, check the result. Since the team member has implemented or facilitated the implementation of the solution, the key part is how do we know it was successful? Typically, have them check the outcome to determine if the solution has been effective. Will they then be empowered to conclude that the solution worked? Now, while I've been living this for a number of years, I'm still at the beginning of the journey. It does take time. I hope this has been very helpful, and before you go, I'd like to leave you with a quote. The respect for people principle is comprehended only through daily thinking and practice on the job. It requires years of thought and practice to understand it well and can never be completely comprehended. Bob Emiliani. Thanks for joining me on this edition of Lean Bites.